Right. How do you know that your cheese is going to taste like it ought to? Now, if it's a brand and it's come from a company that is going to protect that brand, then it has every interest in delivering consistency and that it does what it says on the tin. One person, one company, one cheese. Nice and straightforward. But a very large number of our heritage cheeses can be made by a number of people. And the brands themselves, if brand is the right word, such as Brie de Meaux or Gorgonzola or one of those, they're very valuable and people want to go and buy Brie de Meaux. They want to go and buy Gorgonzola. Now, this problem is not new. About 100 years ago, there was a lot of copying of wines and such things in France. And they came up with a scheme that we now call a protected food name scheme. It's the principle where a cheese or a local wine or whatever that is not made by one person becomes owned by the community. The principle of the scheme is that you have to conform to certain rules, and those rules are registered somewhere as a register. Now, the most comprehensive one of these schemes is the EU, and they have something called the Geographical Indicator or Protected Food Name Scheme, and they have various suffixes you can add to your name, Brie de Meaux, that give an indication that it is a specific cheese and that somebody somewhere is making sure it is what it says. Now, here is a nice cheese, Brie de Meaux, very good. Is a nice Brie de Meaux box going upside down. We'll buy Danger, which is kind of widely available in the UK. Very good. Comes from East of Paris. Now, they have these chaps, these little things here. It says Appellation Origine Contrôlée. Now, this one is only in a sort of slightly brown color because it's been burnt on here, but it's blue and yellow on in real life. Now, these marks are heavily regulated by the EU. To get one of these marks, you as a community have to come to the EU, produce a document that says what you're making, what its name is, and how it is made, and what it is made with, and then register with the EU. And they'll take a look at it and they register, they publish it, and they have a bureaucratic process, splendid. But at the end of the day, somebody somewhere goes, yes, that's fine, or it's okay, subject to certain alterations. What you get at that is a specific name, okay? Not Brie. Brie's gone, right? It was lost in the mist of times. Lots of Bries all over the world. But Brie de Meaux, Brie of Meaux, is a specific cheese. And once it's accepted, you get to add on PDO or PGI or TSG. Product of designated origin. That's the tightest. That means all your ingredients and your processing are coming from your region. It's all about the region. PGI, product of geographical indication. That means something is about the region, but maybe some of it isn't. Maybe some of your ingredients are coming from out of the area, or it's just a looser designation. And then there's TSG, traditional speciality guaranteed. And that is really very loose indeed. It just basically means that this name means something to some people, but how it is made isn't controlled. It's just that the name has to conform in a loose way to something specific. Now, this protected food name scheme is incredibly powerful. In the EU, there are over 250 cheeses and more on the way that have these protected names, of which the vast majority, over 50%, are covered by Spain, Italy, and most of all, France. They're the big beasts of the cheese production world in Europe. But 25 countries have PGIs or PDOs. And those are something that is growing and people very much enjoy. Really, communities really get behind these and really much feel that they are part of their history. Does it matter if it's not protected? Well, as I've already said, words like Brie and Gouda is another one. Cheddar is another thing. These are not protected. Anybody can make them all the way around the world. They tend to try and make something like a Brie or something like a Gouda or something like cheddar, but there's no obligation to do that. You could make something that looks like a Brie and call it Gouda. I have no idea why you do that, but it is possible and legal. But even within that, the European system is not recognized in all countries. The Americans have a sort of a loose relationship with it. Some countries have no relationship, but some countries have thought this is a really good idea. Canada and China even have adopted their own protected food name scheme that reflects their local culture and is respectful of other people. So they don't copy mine and don't copy yours. So it's a good system. And when you see names with PDO or PGI, I hope that gives you an indication of what it means. Is it the only way of protecting cheese? No. As I said, brand names are another, and that kind of thing does work. But many cheeses, even some great cheeses like Lancashire and, as I said, Wensleydale and Caerphilly, they are unprotected. They need to be longer names. There's a very sort of not brilliant one, West Country Farmhouse cheddar cheese. Nobody knows about it. It's too obscure. Rules are drawn too broadly, and many producers from that area rely on their name, their own brand, to show that their cheese is great. So Montgomery's cheddar, everyone relies on the fact that it's a Montgomery's cheddar. So there are lots of ways of doing it, but this protected food name scheme is the most powerful and the one you need to know. So look for those. It's not always a sign of quality, but it is a sign of provenance.